Okay, take number 3. So the last episode, the last little recording I did, I kind of got off the subject, and I don't want to do that again. So let's just break this down. So today's commentary, it's been a very long time. Thanks for watching 45 News Utah, Western States Media, WSM 45, all the others. Thanks for tuning in, and Morning Star Times. Let's get right into it. I want to explain one thing that's really bugging me about this entire situation with government. So we got a $1.2 trillion package, $5 trillion they're trying to shove down our throats again. They're saying they got it paid for. They're saying this. Remember something about the government. Nothing they do is ever paid for. If it's paid for, it's only to run a deficit. And if they run a deficit, they have to run a deficit because they have the fake fiat currency called the US dollar. They have to run it because it's global currency. 59% of all currency used is the US dollar. We still have 59% dominant numbers over the rest of the currencies of the world, which we're losing yearly in a big way, because now we're all trying to go green. The dollar is the oil dollar. So let's just run this down. So we're all looking at what these idiots are doing on Capitol Hill, the House, the Senate. Do nothing. Kamala is supposed to break the tie on the vote that was supposed to go through for the infrastructure bill. But they want it anyway because Mitt Romney's he's just a Democrat. But really, the lines between Democrats and most Republicans are basically just all drawn by whoever pays them the most. It's not about you. It's not about what your interests are. Yes, that's you, Mitt Romney. When the people of the United States, as a free people, vote in lawyers to govern them, one only has to take a little bit of their time to look at a courtroom action between the attorney that's actually prosecuting, called the prosecuting attorney, and the defendant and their attorney, the defense attorney. The defendant could actually have committed murder in cold blood, but the defense attorney, which is their job, by the way, to be the defense attorney, or appointed by the court if they couldn't afford one, which is a public defender, will fight for that client, whether or not the client is completely guilty. He will fight to the very end to try to get that person that murdered somebody off the hook. And what for? Nostalgia and reputation if they're a court-appointed attorney, called a public defender. Possibly get some money out of it, good wage by the people that are paying them to be a defense attorney for those that can't afford an attorney, which is they're one of the worst industries that ever was invented. It's an industry. It's a bar. It's ran by a bar. It's corruption at its finest. If you always watch into get into the New York and the Washington D.C. club of who's who, you find out they're all attorneys. Why would it be that attorneys would be elected as our representatives when we knowingly allow these people that fight for whatever side pays them the most or whatever they're being paid to do, make the decisions, life, liberty, and health for the entire population of the United States? And everybody on the left or the right, doesn't matter which side you're on, they are elected as your representatives to do what they will with the future of us. But the attorneys hold a huge chunk of the United States government. They hold a huge chunk of the freedoms and the finances of the United States government. And those people that are elected, if they're not an attorney at some point or had law school or have a bar recommendation, whatever the heck they call it, they're backed by attorneys, which you have to have nowadays because you're sued by everybody. If you really want to get screwed, and you really want to get it good, and you have something stolen, if an attorney steals it, you're in trouble. Because they'll use every little nook and cranny of the law to get you to take what they want. So it's a gigantic theft that's been going on in the United States. The oil dollar, which is the world's reserve currency, which is 59%, by the way, which is losing ground daily. 59% of the world's currency is the reserve currency called the oil dollar. Now, you want to call it whatever you want. It's just fictitious currency. They're ran by debt. They have to run a debt because this is the dollar that we consider our lives, our livelihood, what we have to survive, has to run a deficit because it's the world's reserve currency. So they print off as much as they want. Or just trillion. These people are wrecking this country. They have been for a very, very long time. I don't know, am I missing something? You on the left, these are the kleptocrats. This is the cream of the kleptocratic crop. Which brings me towards the Munchausen effect. We are living in the Munchausen effect. They keep us sick. They use everything they can out of us. And they take all the money. Take it all. This is all theft at its finest. They go bomb some little country over there. They steal more for Raytheon, which they're invested in anyways. Have you ever noticed that during a massive inflationary time, which you're all in, by the way, the stock market's through the roof? The rich are making more money than they ever have. Yesterday, the announcement of the passage, they're going to pass that bill, $1.2 trillion, to get back by another $5 trillion in fake Green New Deal, pay off my buddies. The stock market went, yay. They can't even make this crap up anymore. They are living off the fact that you are too stupid, dumb, whatever, woke, whatever you guys want to call it, happier, the Teletubby ending scene, the ending episode of the Teletubbies and Barney the whatever, the purple dragon, and a year episode of the Looney Tunes, year and a half. It's just like being in the middle of a Looney Tunes, season. This is all of us in this little mess. People are identifying as whatever. Why they're stealing all the money? People are fighting each other for race because they're stealing the money. Steal all the money. Burning buildings down because they're stealing the money. They steal it. They stole it. Wow, watch these guys go. They're stealing. And they have been stealing the future of your paycheck, your retirement, your savings account, your kids' future, your grandchildren's future. They've been stealing it the whole time. Through wars in the Middle East and the COVID relief pills. And then, the great one that I love so much is the HEROES Act. Nancy Pelosi. The American Recovery Act. What's this? Is this? Will we even name the bill? Should Pelosi and the Shift Show even name the bill they're going to bring out? Well, they say, just screw the American people over and over again while they make themselves extremely filthy rich. Bill. Oh yeah, and infrastructure. It's going to cost you $20 for a gallon of milk, but don't worry, you'll have better broadband. Everybody's happy? We all happy? All happy. Okay, cool. I feel like the dealer. In a card game in Vegas, knowing that the odds are on the house. If I was the government, I'd be like, yeah, watch these idiots go. Well, looks like you lost that hand. Wonder why. Because it's an odds game. So let's do 2021 inflation, 5.4%. So 5.4% was the inflationary rate, which every one of us that has half a brain can tell that is not true. That is not even remotely true. That is bull. And I mean bull. But don't worry, the Dow's up 56 points. Okay. Wow. The kleptocrats made more money. You guys, we should be so proud for them. Let's all do a dance, shall we? No, thank you. I'll do a dance called 60 hours a week to make up for what these kleptocrats are taking out of my paycheck and what else I'm losing now because of runaway inflation. Prices in America pay for everyday goods and services accelerated in July, but about where economists have expected. Of course they expected it. Of course. Sorry. You guys don't know about my allergies. This is gross. I know. But there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Of course they expected it. Because the more inflation you're paying, the more inflationary price you're paying, the more money they make. Because they're the ones that reap the benefits off the profits. Higher priced profits or higher priced product, more profit for them. Doesn't go to the employees, doesn't go to the people that are working for them. It goes to them. Their investments is all they're caring about. which anybody should care about, in a communist economy that just received a now $1.2 trillion dollar dump, and had trillions before that, 9 trillion prior to that, whatever, and $5 trillion coming after that. Pet projects everywhere, fake fiat currency in every direction. Of course they're making money, but it's not their money. It's your future money. It's your tax money you're going to pay. It's not their money. So, okay, we're going to tax the rich. Okay, well, then where's my money back? I work a job. I pay this much of money in taxes, mountain taxes. Where's my money back? If you're going to tax the rich, where's the money you're already stealing from me to cover your pet projects? But that doesn't matter because they're making all the money. They don't care. You're just a little people. Doesn't mean if you're in that middle class now, you're just a little people. They'll crash the economy when they're done with it. They don't care. This economy is running off injections from the federal government. Your tax dollars, your future tax dollars, are what is actually keeping this economy afloat with the insanity called inflation, the housing market insanity, the lords of the lands gouging of the American people, the subsidized workers, huge subsidized by you workers that'll go work for that $9, $10 an hour job is subsidized by the government because nobody can afford it anymore. They're subsidized. Low-paying wages by employers are subsidized employees because somebody or the state or federal government has to pick up the tab for the low wages because of their profits on Wall Street and the governments and all this. It's them that's doing this. There's no price discovery in the economy anymore. No goods and service price discovery because they've injected fake fiat currency up to total 35% of the entire GDP. You look that up for yourself. They have done this with a 35% injection of fake fiat currency. Of all the money ever printed, they put 35% since the first COVID outbreak. Okay, look that up for yourself. If they actually tell you the truth, but it's always transitory inflation, they're saying. So it's up to they're saying excluding energy and food. Should we even read what they're saying? Here at the news desk that I try to avoid constantly, should we even entertain what these people are saying on CNBC, the bobblehead network of the communist news networks? Because they are propagandists. What are they going to tell us? Well, they just excluded food. I guess nobody needs to eat anymore, right? Excluding energy and food. I just don't get it. Rose to 0.3% last month, shy of economic expectations of 0.4% increase. And well below June's rise of 0.9%. Yeah, they're flying around because this is full of, you know what, bull poop. Tons of bull poop. CNBC's a bunch of big load of bull poop. The people that read this are the kleptocrats at the top. They're the kleptocrats that have made $1 bazillion off a pandemic. You want to know where the money went? That's where it went, right to them. So these people read, oh, well, it went up 0.2% in July and climbed at 10% in prior months. Used car prices went up. Okay. April and June gained just 0.2% in July after climbing more than 10% prior months. Bull hooky. Bull. Used car prices went up because they rose the used car prices. They raised the prices. The used car prices went up because you dumped a bunch of fake fiat currency into the economy. The used car prices went up because people were able to run the kleptocratic inflation on used cars. That's a little percentage of these guys, Wall Street, and the corporate kleptocrats that run the world. So of course the used car people are going to get in on this and be like, oh, that car's worth $2,000 more than it was yesterday. Why? Because they dumped a bunch of fake fiat currency. We want to sop it up. Instead of just, the money helping people, they took it. But that's free market, right? No. Free market was gone when they started the communist injections of fake fiat currency to the tune of $5 or $9 or $10 or $12 trillion. That is not capitalism. That is bailouts. That is bankruptcy. You don't make record profits after bankruptcy. You pay back your bankruptcies if you're a corporation or you lose your corporation. That's how that's supposed to work. That's called a free economy. That's or you know, just capitalism. But that isn't happening. Nor is it going to happen. These kleptocrats just signed another $1.2 trillion bill in, and they want $5 trillion of Green New Deal. Let's see. You know, you can't even make this stuff up, guys. You go to the store, and it's just like, wow, it was bad before, now it's worse. It's just, this is $4 a gallon. You're like, is anybody out there? Are we really Biden supporters waving your Biden flag? Are you better now? No. Orange man bad. Orange man destroying everything. Okay. Biden doesn't care about you or your dreams or your, you know, you want to save the world. You want to save the world? Stop allowing people, stop the mass exodus out of massive cities into rural America where you're actually destroying habitat forever by building housing infrastructures. It's so great. Well, you're destroying the natural world. Climbing all over everything, going everywhere, riding my bikes and hiking up in the hills. And I just moved here from California. I just moved here from Washington. I moved here. Action and reaction, it's equal or greater, Darwin's theory. Moving here has caused a rift in the natural world. The masses moving here. It has caused the destruction of areas in the natural world. So you can't tell Green New Deal, I'm trying to save the environment, while you're all building your housing projects. That's just, that's complete reversal of being an environmentalist. Well, I rent a greenhouse, I poop in a bag, and I recycle it. So what? So what? Your car, your house, the area you guys have just bulldozed and paved over and plopped in 50, 60 houses, you destroyed that area forever. It's no longer going to be a natural part of the world. That is a true destruction of nature. Not to mention the traffic and the cars, everybody driving everywhere, screaming to save the world. I remember the world before this all happened in the 90s and 80s. I remember the way things were. This isn't saving the world. You could save the oceans and save the cities along the coast by stopping global warming, apparently, which you can't stop. But what you're doing to rural America and the wildlife, the birds, everything, by building subdivisions, destroys it forever. Blacktop takes away the world, the earth. It's covered in blacktop. It's Black Death. It's over. Subdivisions out in the West Hills. Deer habitat gone. Rabbits, birds, hawks, eagles, gone. Oh, well, look, I still got a bird in a tree over a deer come across the fence. Well, it won't last very long. You took away the wild places. But we're all in capitalism, right? We're supposed to be in capitalism, make some money, but you can't scream environmentalism and then come here and build your kleptocracy. Because the wild things that were here prior, the people that were a part of that, look at you and say, you're out of your mind, you're nuts. You don't understand what you've done to this place. And other places. What you've done in the mountain. What everybody's done by just piling in everywhere. Wildlife is scared. You've altered movement of big game. You've altered movement of small game. But then you build a subdivision, or you build cabins, or you sop up some more Forest Service property and scream from your gigantic windows of your $500 million or $1 million cabin saying we got to save the world. You follow me on this? We've got to change who we are. We want to imagine ourselves, reimagine ourselves. We want a Green New Deal. I'll tell you what a Green New Deal is. Bring the deer back. And leave the elk alone. Let them populate back where they're supposed to be. Where the range can handle a ton more animals. if you stop developing everything. But for that almighty fake fiat currency dollar that's not a part of capitalism, with houses that are completely theft. It's just theft of the future generations of local people that raise their children. They can't afford to live in the area. Or you got people living in a bedroom for $500 a month now, just trying to survive and work a job to keep the kleptocracy going. They can't take part in the American dream. And this mass exodus out of California and Washington and New York, and all that, this is all artificial exodus. It's an artificial movement driven by a kleptocracy of a pandemic that has made the kleptocrats and all associated extremely sickly, filthy rich at the expense of all of our futures, with what, $10 trillion dumped into the economy, now another 1.2, and they're going to dump another 5 trillion. But it's going to be spread out, right? But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because they're all thinking about Scream Safe, Greta Thunberg's going to save the world. We're going to do climate crisis. Meanwhile, they just, as long as everybody's willing to just scream at each other, doesn't see what's really happening here, then it will only continue. You vote these people back in, good luck. Because the new imagined world is not going to be a world full of everybody gets a fair chance in life. That's all just cannon fodder. They're only giving you what you think you want to keep you fighting against the other people. If they really cared about everybody, they would stop spending the future of America. The kleptocrats would be making record profits off of everybody's backs if they cared about you. They don't care about transgenderism. They don't care about the Green New Deal. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care about race. They don't care about sex. They don't care about Me Too movements. You guys can obviously tell that now. They don't care. They're in it for them. These are lawyers. They will fight for the defendant that just murdered his wife to make him look completely innocent. They will fight for the government, the local jurisdiction, to put an innocent person behind bars, if that person's innocent. And they'll fight to the very end and hold a stone cold face in court. Even though they make the decision, whether right nor wrong, they still are guilty of imprisoning somebody that didn't do it, accusing somebody of something they didn't do, or getting the murderer off. That's what lawyers do. They take people's lives away, they win settlements for injuries, and they take half of it. And you put these people in charge. Anybody with a law degree should not be anywhere near the government of the United States, unless they're being legally sued. Then they should involve lawyers. But they say, well, is this law legal? One only has to look at the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. That is their job. If they steal from the people, pet projects, we should be doing something about it. But we can't, because we let the lawyers that will knowingly and willingly prosecute somebody that they know did not do it, but that's their job. Do exactly what their lobbyists tell them to do. Kind of works like that, doesn't it? To compare their salary from you and I and what we get stolen out of our paychecks, called taxes. This isn't taxes, this is highway robbery. Try being single in a mill and working a job, find out how much you lose without deductibles, or a female without any deductions. You will find out, and we all know this, they're taking everything they can. Double taxation. Income tax, sales tax, tax this, property tax, tax. These people should be in charge of spending bills like this. It should have nothing to do with anything to do with this. No pet projects, no NGOs should be receiving any money. We don't need money to fight racism, because racism is being boiled over in order to keep people fighting each other. Real racism already has a felony attached to it. Any crime involving racism is a felony charge. We have laws in place. We don't need to be spending more money towards racism. We don't need to be spending more money towards transgender studies. We don't need to be giving the kleptocrats of the other countries more money that we don't have. We don't need infrastructure bills unless it's actually to do infrastructure and they hire local workers for the area that they're doing the infrastructure in, which is not going to happen. We don't have checks and balances of money spent either that they're supposedly going to hire to do the infrastructure. They should be local companies to promote local populations. We don't need mileage taxes on our vehicles. Knowing where you drive, how much you drive, you like that, that's included in these bills, by the way. So, to cut this 26 minutes into this, you know, I hate to be the person that's sitting back on the news, well, just explaining that this is complete insanity. I know Tucker and everybody else is saying the same thing, but I'm just like, you know, anybody that could look at this and say, what in blank's name is going on here? We're in a pandemic. I can't even go into the pandemic because I have fear of the government or fear of a corporation that allows a platform, which is now the real social platform, which is the actual way we socialize, could destroy me in 5 minutes for talking about a certain subject. That is where we're at. We better put the brakes on this. Vote the lawyers out, because they're just going to get a job with their special interests they promoted the entire time they stole all the money. Vote them out. When they all come up, get them out. Career politicians, get them out. The drain the swamp was just a bunch of bull, because the swamp isn't a swamp. It's a massive oceanic body that has all the money that only allows certain people to have so much. We have to vote these people out. Get Romney out. Get Cox out. Across the United States, get all career politicians and all lawyers out. And answer to the Constitution. They are constitutionalists. They should be the ones that answer the Constitution. They work for and by the people of the United States. Everything they do is for and by the people of the United States. They do not take money. They do not. That is not vital for America. People need help in America. There is homeless. There is mentally disturbed people. People are suffering mental anxiety, depression. People are going homeless. The drug epidemic. I mean, these are things that need to be taken care of. These are things that need to be fixed with this kleptocratic theft. Imagine they took $1.2 trillion and said, guess what, America? There is no more homelessness in America. But they can't, because the kleptocratic realty groups, including Wall Street, and these private individuals making $1 bazillion off of a kleptocratic housing market driven by the pandemic and allowing this to happen upon the people. It's not real price discovery. It is not. You are exiting the people out of the big cities through a totalitarian, whatever regimes that are causing a population to flee. We have economic, but economically advanced for the area they're from, refugees flooding the West, flooding rural America. That's causing the housing crisis. And who's filling their shoes back in their kleptocratic Silicon Valley that's overpaid? Non-essential. Anybody think about that? So, take that $1.92 trillion and let's end homelessness forever. Screw the infrastructure. Let's just end homelessness forever. Let's take the next $1.2 trillion and build a wall so big that nobody can get over it through the Mexican border. Why? Because of fentanyl, meth, heroin, any other drug that can be pushed across would stop. Would stop. Unless it's purposely let in. Just a massive, we're talking, you know, a wall you couldn't even shoot a catapult over. And stop the drugs. We don't need walls. Well, everybody that's in this kleptocratic government, they live behind walls to protect them from you. Just saying. We don't need to hurt people. We don't need to take things from people. We don't need to use people anymore. We don't need to do any of this stuff anymore. This is not communism. This is theft of the future of America that they're throwing into bills that are just to benefit them. They'll make the money because they invested before this all happens. They put the money in that project. Their buddies make all the money. It's the average, you know, $110 for a bedpan in a hospital. It's the same thing. That's how they run stuff. It's through waste they make their money. It's through pet projects they make their money. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Just a rant and rave I've been holding in for a few weeks now. Just irritated. Irritated that humanity can't end the problems and the suffering humanity is suffering through. I don't understand it. Mental health. Homelessness. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why anybody in their right mind would say that this $1.2 trillion bill is even fair when we're suffering through a health crisis, well, a pandemic, a mental health crisis, a housing crisis that they won't mention on the news, homelessness, drug, everything that we need. That they're not taking that money and fighting the kleptocrats. They should do something other than what they're doing, because this is insane. And yet every day they go to their balls and their regalia dressed up all pretty. You know, Obama's birthday. Why somebody's sitting on the side of a street somewhere trying to find a place to sleep, suffering from massive mental disorders, disease, and they can't even function in society, that has gone completely insane. And they're looking in a dumpster for food tomorrow. They're standing in a line waiting to hopefully get food from a soup kitchen. They're sleeping under an overpass. They're doped up with heroin. They have no options. They just, the world has taken all it can take, and it's them that has taken this. Because the American dream is get a job, have a family, have a security in life, and then retire. Have a retirement ready for you. That's just the American dream. That's what people go to work for, and that is, it's lost. It's lost. It's been lost to the ages, and these people are suffering due to it. Nobody should go homeless. Nobody should lose their homes. It's just, every one of us could be in that situation in 2008 2.0. Think you're above that? Nobody's above that. Nobody's above what they can do to everybody. Nobody. I told people that past this is... Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night.